Hello everyone, I've been invited down to the West Country to meet up with an old friend of mine. His name's Paul Bancroft and he's an accomplished Deus user. So let's have a catch up with Paul and see if we can find the secrets to his success. So Paul, tell me about your introduction to XP. When did you start using the Deus?
Well, my transition to XP was probably seven or 8 years ago. Metal detecting in the field, came across someone who was also searching. He had a Deus, so I started sort of talking to him about it. Done a bit of research on it. Suddenly I realised there's a machine out there I need to get hold of and give it a go and see how it fits on my soils and my land. Bought one about a week later. Less than that really. Haven't looked back basically. It's deep. What do you think? It's deep. It's a digger.
I'm using a pitch program, by the way.
Yeah, that's coming, yeah.
Pitch program's doing it well.
It is doing well.
Coming up at 86, 85, 86. Any ideas?
86, not far off. Could be a big Roman or groat. My groats I've had in the past around has been 70s, 74s. It's definitely a dig signal.
Let's go on to the ultimate program.
That's a nice little squeaky, isn't it?
Nice little sound. It's quite deep, I think. Quite
yeah,
deep.
it does sound deep.
Be my guest, sir.
Shall we?
Yep, go on. Be my guest.
Might be a cartridge or something.
So what do you think of the MI6?
Love it, love it. I like it connected to the headphones, obviously. Whatever it is, it's there. Oh, it's true. Oh, I can see it, I think. A bit too much. That's a Jetton. Oh, he's nice. Gosh, wow. That was deep. Yeah, it's definitely a Jetton.
So we talked the other week about you getting a white HF coil and, well, I can see you've gone out and got one. What's the reasoning behind that?
I bought the HF coil basically to get in amongst the sort of contaminated ground. That's it, contaminated. It's an irony ground. There's lots of iron about, typical of Roman and medieval sites. So I wanted a higher frequency coil. I've heard really good things about it. I'm a bit late to it coming along. I know they've been out quite a while, but I've got the land and I'm going to see what the difference it makes. I'm sure it's going to make a lot of difference. I wish they were all like that. Wish they were all like that. Still in the hole. Just to the side. It's a nice signal. It's still there. God, the ground's wet. Down. There. He's out. Put back in the hole. I think looks a bit Roman. Yeah, little Roman. That was the sweetest of signals with that HF coil. Little gasket key. I love these. Okay. I must have had six or eight of these, mainly that size. Always nice patina. He's a little bit broken on the end, but I just love them. They just make me smile. I'm loving this HF coil already. I know I haven't had much use on it. It's early days, but that was a cracking signal. All right, 5 inches maybe. It's not that deep, but it certainly banged it out. Lovely crisp sound. Dig that signal all day long. So very pleased. That's one of the sweetest ones I've had today. Little signal. Not as sharp now. Moved a bit, maybe. So, definitely out. Look at that. Oh, and he's a bit nibbled, but that's why I got the HF coil. Pulling out the tiny little things like that. Little nick out of it. Nice signal. 4 inches down. Hammered.
We ain't had a bad morning. Well, you haven't had a bad morning, have you? You've had a couple of interesting bits. That nice jetton, hammered coin and a little Roman. So,
well, that's what it's about. You take your chances. We've had a nice day. It's been, the weather's been good, no rain. And the old HF coils sniffed out a few things.
You've had some interesting finds over the years, haven't you? And I've seen some of them in the magazine.
Yeah,
so you've got some interesting sites there.
Yeah, I've enjoyed sort of writing, only lately, you know, last sort of a year, 18 months or so, writing for the magazine. And yeah, it's just nice to show your finds. It's not about showing off, it's just showing them to other people, you know, if it gives them some incentive to get out there. The finds are there to be found still, even though a lot comes up.
It's not all about the treasure, is it? It's just being part of the hobby and giving back and just enjoying your detecting.
Yeah.
If it was all about treasure, I think a lot of us would have given up years ago. Not you, because you've got good sights and you're constantly finding treasure. Talking about treasure, have you brought any of your finds along today?
We've got a few to show you, a few little bits and pieces we found over the years.
Brilliant. Let's have a cup of tea and let's see them.
Good man. Right. One of my favourites, really. I know we don't do this for monetary terms and it's not worth a lot of money, but it's very unusual. There's not another one like it. It's like a lead mask, a theatre mask possibly, which is Roman in date. You can see on the back where it must have been fixed to something, whether it was a casket. Interestingly, it was found with about 8 sesterces in the same area. So maybe even a sort of little votive offering. Another find, also another favourite of mine. It's a cross mount, sort of medieval, 12th, 13th century. Would have been on one of the arms of a cross, wooden cross. It shows Matthew, this one, an apostle. Decorated, blue enamels, yellow enamels. It was quite bright when it came out the ground, but unfortunately, as soon as it came out the ground, it starts to die back a bit. But it's been preserved. It's still a lovely artefact. Obviously, a nice bit of history. Found not far from here as well. You can see the holes, 4 holes where it was attached. So it would have been on a cross. In fact, you go in the churches now and you look at the cross. On each cross, top, sides, and bottom, you'll see these. Another religious. I say they're not common finds, but you do see quite a few turn up. I've had a few. It's a little medieval ampulla, sort of 14th, 15th century. They would have held water, so you would have gone to a shrine and they would sell these as like souvenirs. Put holy water in there, crimp the top, and then they'd come back off their pilgrimage and maybe put it into the corner of a field for better crops. Sometimes they had a coin in there. You can see I've prized this one a little bit just to look to see if there was anything in there. I have heard of coins coming out, but this one was just empty. But a nice little artefact. Coinage. We all love hammered coins. I've been lucky enough to find my fair share over the years. These are groats. They've hardly had, well, they have had no cleaning as such, apart from a gentle wash. They're sort of Henrys. I think one's an Edward. We all love to dig those up, if you're lucky enough to dig them, that is. Deus found these ones probably about 12 inches, 11, 12 inches. They were good depths. I mentioned earlier, obviously, I've been lucky enough to find quite a bit of Roman. Most of us do, in fairness, you know, they were everywhere. We don't always find a denarii. These are some of my denarii I've found over the years. Nice little one. That one's Lucilla, very nicely struck. And we've got one of Vespasian. That's Vespasian. And another one of Trajan. They're lovely. I think they bang out about a 70, 75 on the old Deus. Another thing I found only recently, actually, last year. Probably, I said, I've got a couple of favourites, but this is up there as well, my top 5 little things. It's only bronze. It's probably 12th, 13th century. There's a little hollow on the back where it probably would have also maybe gone onto a casket or a cross similar to the Limoges Mount. Face of possibly an apostle. Yeah, I just love that one, and there's traces of gold gilding. Originally, obviously, it would have been gilded, so it would have looked quite special. Some of the other finds, I guess really, they are run-of-the-mill. Over the years, you know, we all would have built up little things like this. You know, your thimbles. Well, maybe not everyone. Part of a Roman spoon. Many people find the complete ones. Unfortunately, that was broke. Little casket keys. Your buckles. Your little buckle plates, shapes. Just a collection really, built up over the years. And obviously the Roman coins. Many of us are fortunate enough to find these in abundance. And over the years I've found my fair share, no doubt. Some come up in good condition. Obviously some are toasted, worn. But it's just a collection. Well, there's even a little Celtic there, look. Small Celtic Duratrigian coin. Yeah. Find bucketfuls of these really over the years. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. And then be nice to think that was part of a pot with quite a few in. But unfortunately it was just a stray find picked up. Judging by the size of it, it hadn't been pulled out of the ground very long. It was on ploughed land, so I don't know how it ever survived. But once again, part of a Roman pot. The coins aren't associated with the pot, unfortunately. My top tips to a new Deus user would be certainly look at Gary's tutorials on the XP. All the answers is on there, but don't be frightened to use the preset programs. You know, there's plenty of programs in there. Start off with maybe something like the Deus Fast. Don't worry about if people tells you to adjust and do this, do that. Get used to the sound, get the feel for the program you're in. Get the confidence with that. Then at later stages, you know, when your finds rates comes up a bit, you can then, you know, adapt and change the settings a little bit just to suit the ground and the areas you're in. I've used quite a few different machines over the years, which is good because the more machines you use, you know, when you come across a machine like XP, certainly the Deus, it makes you realise and appreciate, you know, just exactly what it's capable of, and finds rate goes up, confidence goes up. It's a no-brainer really.